IndyCar race. Had great experience earlier following Rahal. We saw him fall off the road right at this particular juncture. Now he's in trouble from somebody behind him. That's Rahal again beginning to put the pressure on Ribeiro.
Through the carousel, Rahal closing in. Ribeiro's progress up through the field as he continues his pursuit of fourth place, Teo Fabi.
Teo Fabi's car now being engineered by Lee Dykstra. He's the man responsible for this race setup. Oh, he locks up that right front. He's had trouble all day locking those fronts. Ribeiro takes advantage right up under his rear wing. Virtually impossible to pass here.
Yeah, but as they come now to the climbing pit straight, that's where the Honda power may pay off. We get a good comparison here. They come off the corner, climb the hill.
Jimmy Vasser just ahead. Fernandez behind, he's 7th. Good run for Fernandez and Rick Gallis's car. Look at that line of cars along this 200-mile-an-hour front straight.
About equal down the straightaway. In fact, Rahal may have closed a bit on Ribeiro. That can also be a product of how you came off that last corner, too. Not necessarily engine all by itself. There's the leader. Second place, Tracy, stretched out now. Down through the woods, heading for Station 5. Everybody single file, but everybody looking.
And that's the difficulty that Paul Tracy, who's now going up the hill, will have trying to catch Jacques Villeneuve. Jacques just seems to be able to pull out 1 or 2 car lengths down these long straights.
With all the yellows, average speed of the race, 102.6 miles an hour. Not anywhere near Michael Andretti's race record of 126.2.
We monitor some team radios, and the Newman-Haas team have just told Paul Tracy to go +2 on the fuel mixture. In other words, add 2% more to fuel. And when you add fuel to these engines, they begin to make more power and go faster.
Jan Beekes, you have an update?
I can give you an update as far as Jimmy Vasser is concerned. We checked in with Tom Anderson, who of course is the team manager for Ganassi Racing, and he said, yes, we were one of the early guys to come in. Fuel was originally a concern, but this additional yellow has also given us hope, or actually they're certain that they are going to make it to the end, and like Paul Tracy, they're hoping to feed that Ford engine a bit more fuel.
40 miles to go for Jacques Villeneuve, then Tracy, then this car, Jimmy Vasser.
Jimmy Vasser just passing the position where he had a monster 200-mile-an-hour crash here just 3 weeks ago, and it never even fazed him.
Single file at the moment, but it should be a sprint to the finish at Road America. No changes since we left you here at Road America. It's still lined up nose to tail, and plenty of opportunity yet to pass. 41 laps complete, 9 to go, but 4 miles a lap. Ford Motor Company out in front, but look at Honda, 5th place. Andre Ribeiro giving that car a great ride. Parker Johnstone, the other Honda here, was just quick off and on, fell through the field, but has remained on the leader lap, running in 14th place. There's Ribeiro as he continues his battle for 4th place with Teo Fabi. Bobby Rahal lined up just behind him, then Adrian Fernandez.
And Andre Ribeiro is not hanging on here. He is challenging here. He has the speed in that Reynard with the Honda engine to possibly take that position from Teo Fabi.
Raul Boisel, who was doing so good so early, is pitted. And so no longer any kind of factor at the front of the field, will most likely drop off the leader lap.
Fabi, who still commutes from Italy, still lives back in Italy, running the family talcum powder business. Team manager is Tony Brunetti. He might have been Tony Brunelli last week, but he's Brunetti this week.
Stromberger, his first IndyCar race, off and on. Came up from Austria.
And the first Austrian to race an IndyCar since who? Jochen Rindt. The last Austrian to race an IndyCar, believe it or not, with the posthumous world champion, Jochen Rindt.
Raul Boisel steps out of his car. I want to point out, I actually knew that answer, didn't I? I mean, that wasn't a setup.
You knew because I told you.
No, you asked me last night and I knew then.
Look at Tracy dropping back here into the clutches of Jimmy Vasser.
Tracy, the interval from Jack Villeneuve to Tracy stretches out, was 2.5 seconds. But the interval between Tracy and Vassar is closing in. Vassar's very definitely stalking second place Tracy.
So Villeneuve in control and Tracy in pain. Now trying to hold off Jimmy Vassar. He had a special pair of driving boots made. Paul Tracy did. There's a carbon fiber sole and outer carbon fiber section on Paul Tracy's racing boots. In fact, he has handmade racing boots all the time. Alpine stars, who are more famous for motocross boots, actually hand make Paul Tracy's racing boots for him.
But Jimmy Vassar now just a half a second back, trying to close. Tracy gets away from him a little bit there going into the carousel. But boy, Vassar's been so strong the past several races.
He didn't have a good qualifying run, qualified a lowly 14th. But on race day is when Jimmy Vassar just seems to come good. He understands track position. And if you go by Portland, he's had a second, a first, and running in a very strong third place here. So Chip Ganassi definitely getting good returns from his driver here, Jimmy Vassar.
Derek, at the start of the run, you were talking about how Firestone was faring against Goodyear. Right now, Firestone on Ribeiro runs 5th and Pruitt is running 8th. How do you think that figures into the overall?
I think I expected a little bit more from Scott Pruitt. I think he's grappling with some handling problems because we saw Ribeiro passing quite easily earlier. But there's no doubt Firestone are mounting a stiff challenge here. However, stiff challenges are one thing. You've got to get poles and race wins, though, before you can really see a benefit from all the test miles and all the huge financial investment you make in making the decision to go IndyCar racing.
Fernandez, Pruitt, Christian Fittipaldi, 7th, 8th, 9th. DeFerrin, who had led the race, now sits in 10th. He should be back just behind this battle as well. Watch as they come down the hill. Some interval back to him, though. Pruitt tries it, can't get it done. Let's go to Jan Beekes with Raul Boisel.
Raul has made his way out of the race car. What put you out?
Well, I have probably the gearbox. We have this probably selection early on, so that's why we lost some position when the green came, and so finally, gave up.
Now, is that what happened between you and Bobby? Did you miss a gear? And how come all of a sudden he seemed to move over and push you off the track?
Yes, we was fighting for position. I tried to save my place, and then when the gear missed, I tried to stay beside him, and I guess was placed just for one there.
Might have a chat with him when he comes in, huh?
Yeah, maybe.
Thanks, Raul.
So they still run nose to tail. Jack Villeneuve is the leader by 3 seconds. And as we go to the closing laps, we'll keep track of it for you, and we'll come back for the checkered flag. Back at Road America, Andre Ribeiro. He climbs the hill, running in 5th place. And one car off its tail, Fabi. He was running in 4th. Pass goes Ribeiro, pass goes Ray Hall. He's losing positions as he tries to get it back under control.
And it looked like it was all by himself. That was where we saw Boisel go off earlier. So there goes his 4th place and hands it to Andre Ribeiro, who continues to move up this leaderboard here.
And in fact, falls all the way out of the top 10, but DeFerrin is into the barriers now. Now what will they do? 5 laps to go. Presumption is they will leave him here. They won't go full course yellow, or will they?
Well, now it doesn't make any difference how much fuel Gilles DeFerrin has, because he throws it all away and buries himself into those new design of tire barriers at the end. I think that's Canada Corner. Look at the gravel trap he goes through, and he forces another full course yellow, which will tighten the field up. It'll save this man on potential fuel problems, and it allows Paul Tracy to get right up under his rear wing.
Gilles DeFerrin's, if he doesn't get out and get it started, 6th DNF of the year. Theoretically, he could get it out and get it going. Gary Gerald?
Kind of mixed reaction here in the pits of Jacques Villeneuve. Team Green watching the monitors. They're aware, of course, that now we're going full course yellow. They had stretched the margin to just over 3 seconds, and as we suspected, one of the reasons is because he too, like Tracy, was able to go close to 100% full rich on the fuel. So he was generating a lot of horsepower, a lot of speed, but now that 3 seconds is going to be gone underneath the yellow. With time running out, it opens the door for Paul Tracy.
And it has taken some time to get these cars out of the gravel pits. they'll be burning up laps. We could probably come back with like 3 laps, 12 miles to the checkered flag, with Paul Tracy and Jimmy Vasser sitting right on top of the 27 car of Jack Villeneuve.
There's Villeneuve, goes by the safety truck. And that is Paul Tracy right in his wheel tracks. Now Tracy knows at this stage that he doesn't have the speed to go head-to-head with Villeneuve. The only way he can maybe snatch a victory from Jacques Villeneuve is a daring move under braking. So he knows, and you can bet, he will be stuck right up under the rear wing of Jacques Villeneuve when we go back to green.
And he has double problems. He's got that bad foot. He's got the problem with the mirror. He can't see what's on his right side. I wonder if this is a relief for Tracy, being able to run slow for a while here, or if it's a time when the pain kind of surges back to him.
It's an opportunity. That's what it is.
And an opportunity that he will very well take, and has taken before, and is spectacular when he does. We're going to take another break. We'll come back when they go to green. Well, they're there with Gilles de Ferran trying to stretch out the tow ropes and get them hooked up. Of course, the problem is you can't back too far into that sand trap. You get the tow vehicle stuck as well. We're under the full course caution. Everybody's closed up at the field. Going to make for a great final couple of laps here. Probably 3, maybe even only 2 laps to the finish. We'll see how fast they get that car out. We're on the 46th lap now, under the 6th full course caution of the day, doubling the record number of cautions we've had here at Road America. So it's been an exceedingly slow day and dragging the average down to 106.2 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour behind Michael Andretti's race record. Let's go to Jan Beekes.
Carl, is there anything that you can do, any strategy you can play here with only a few laps remaining to go for the win?
Not really. It's been kind of a strange race. We're kind of hanging on there. If we get a break, I don't know, maybe Paul will try and get him on the restarts, but it's hard to say.
So you don't think you have the speed once they get the momentum going to challenge Jacques Villeneuve?
Well, it's hard to pass on this course, you know, to get by him if we got 2 cars both running quick. Villeneuve's been running quick all day, so it'll be difficult, but you never know.
One of his cars is out, but the other is still very strong. Paul?
Now you're right on board with that car now. Paul Tracy. As Derek suggested, what he has is an opportunity. He has a chance.
And this is his favorite racetrack. He's been so fast here in the past. We watched him yesterday trying to qualify in the front row of the grid. He went off the racetrack 3 times, grappling with a vibrating brake pedal. He got that sorted this morning. And then, of course, those stitches popped out of that damaged foot just this morning. Had new stitches inserted. Was in considerable pain. And look at the job he does today.
Now it's going to be close as whether we get 2 laps or 3 laps under green flag. If they can get him way clear quickly here, the assumption is there's enough distance that they might be able to give him 3 laps of green flag, but maybe only 2. Gary Gerald?
Well, Paul, not only is this opportunity a great one for Tracy and the guys up front, it's a great opportunity for some of the guys back in the pack. When you consider the travails, as we've seen of Scott Pruitt today and Christian Fittipaldi, they're now running 7th and 8th respectively. That all ties them into the line, and if they can put together a couple of great laps, make a couple of moves, they might gain a couple of positions that could move them closer to the podium.